Hi, this is Cheryl Peterson with Healing Science Today. I'm going to read a contemporary Christian Science Bible lesson sermon from the English Standard Version of the Bible, copyrighted by Crossway Bibles, and from 21st Century Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures, a modern version of Mary Baker Eddy's Science and Health, copyrighted by Cheryl Peterson. Subject: No ghost. Golden text from 2 Corinthians. Now the Lord is the Spirit, and where the Spirit of the Lord is, there is freedom. And we all, with unveiled face, beholding the glory of the Lord, are being transformed into the same image from one degree of glory to another. For this comes from the Lord, who is the Spirit. 1 Samuel. In those days the Philistines gathered their forces for war to fight against Israel. And Achish said to David, "Understand that you and your men are to go out with me in the army." David said to Achish, "Very well, you shall know what your servant can do." And Achish said to David, "Very well, I will make you my bodyguard for life." Now Samuel had died, and all Israel had mourned for him and buried him in Ramah, his own city. And Saul had put the mediums and the necromancers out of the land. The Philistines assembled and came and encamped at Shunem. And Saul gathered all Israel, and they encamped at Gilboa. When Saul saw the army of the Philistines, he was afraid, and his heart trembled greatly. And when Saul inquired of the Lord did not answer him, either by dreams, or by Urim, or by prophets. Then Saul said to his servants, "Seek out for me a woman who is a medium, that I may go to her and inquire of her." And his servant said to him, "Behold, there is a medium at Endor." So Saul disguised himself and put on other garments and went, he and 2 men with him. And they came to the woman by night, and he said, "Divine for me by a spirit, and bring up for me whomever I shall name to you." The woman said to him, "Surely you know what Saul has done, how he has cut off the mediums and the necromancers from the land. Why then are you laying a trap for my life to bring about my death?" But Saul swore to her by the Lord, "As the Lord lives, no punishment shall come upon you for this thing." Then the woman said, "Whom shall I bring up for you?" He said, "Bring up Samuel for me." When the woman saw Samuel, she cried out with a loud voice. And the woman said to Saul, "Why have you deceived me? You are Saul." The king said to her, "Do not be afraid. What do you see?" And the woman said to Saul, "I see a god coming up out of the earth." He said to her, "What is his appearance?" And she said, "An old man is coming up, and he is wrapped in a robe." And Saul knew that it was Samuel, and he bowed with his face to the ground and paid homage. Then Samuel said to Saul, "Why have you disturbed me by bringing me up?" Saul answered, "I am in great distress, for the Philistines are warring against me, and God has turned away from me and answers me no more, either by prophets or by dreams. Therefore I have summoned you to tell me what I shall do." And Samuel said, "Why then do you ask me, since the Lord has turned from you and became your enemy? The Lord has done to you as he spoke by me. For the Lord has torn the kingdom out of your hand and given it to your neighbor David, because you did not obey the voice of the Lord and did not carry out his fierce wrath against Amalek. Therefore the Lord has done this thing to you this day. Moreover, the Lord will give Israel also with you into the hand of the Philistines, and tomorrow you and your sons shall be with me. The Lord will give the army of Israel also into the hand of the Philistines." Then Saul fell at once full length on the ground, filled with fear because of the words of Samuel. And there was no strength in him, for he had eaten nothing all day and all night. And the woman came to Saul, and when she saw that he was terrified, she said to him, "Behold, your servant has obeyed you. I have taken my life in my hand and have listened to what you have said to me. Now, therefore, you also obey your servant. Let me set a morsel of bread before you and eat, that you may have strength when you go on your way." He refused and said, "I will not eat." But his servants, together with the woman, urged him, and he listened to their words. So he arose from the earth and sat on the bed. Now the woman had a fattened calf in the house, and she quickly killed it, and she took flour and kneaded it and baked unleavened bread of it. And she put it before Saul and his servants, and they ate. Then they rose and went away that night. 21st century science and health. Existence continues to be a perception of divided body energies until the science of being is reached. I entertain no doubt of the altruism and philanthropy of many readers, psychics, and spiritualists, but I can't coincide with the views of a mystical, supernatural being or force because they remove phenomena from the realm of reason. Science puts an end to mystery and explains extraordinary phenomena as logical. The ancient prophets received their foresight from a spiritual, metaphysical position, not by predicting evil and mistaking fiction as fact. Reading the future from the premise of fleshly and human belief is not scientific foresight. When sufficiently advanced in science to be in agreement with the truth of being, individuals become seers and prophets involuntarily. Prophecy is not controlled by spirits, demons, or quantum entities, but by the one Spirit. It is the prerogative of the ever-present divine mind and of thought in alignment with this mind to know the past, the present, and the future. It is unreasonable to believe that we are wearing out life, accelerating toward death, and at the same time communing with immortality. If those who have gone before us are in rapport with mortality, they are not spiritual, but must still be fleshly, sinning, suffering, and dying. Then why look to them for proofs of immortality, even if communication were possible? Why accept human spirits as infallible guides? Communications based on or gathered from a lack of good reason is pernicious in tendency. Any communication requiring bioenergy would destroy the supremacy of spirit. If spirit pervades all space, it needs no physical method for the transmission of messages. Spirit does not need biofields, quantum physics, or physical energy to be omnipresent. Spirit is not physically tangible. How then can spirit communicate with us through electric or quanta effects? To resort to matter would be to the demise of omnipotent, all-present spirit. God is not in the mixtures of matter caring for matter, psychics making many spirits, and hypnotism or vibrations claiming to be agents of God's government. Spirit blesses, but we cannot tell where it comes from or where it is going. By spirit, the sick are healed, the stressed are comforted, and the sinning are reformed. These are the effects of one universal God, the indivisible, invisible, good dwelling in eternal science. Even if communications from spirits to human consciousness were possible, such communications would grow beautifully less with every advanced stage of existence. The departed would gradually rise above ignorance and materiality, and mediums would outgrow the belief that they need other spirits. Psychics consign the dead to a state resembling that of limbo or abject purgatory. What are the chances for continued spiritual improvement if the spirit entities are lowering their vibration levels or constantly returning to their old standpoints of material knowledge in order to communicate? Mind science teaches mortals don't get tired of helping others. It dissipates fatigue to do good deeds. In service to our Maker, generosity will not deprive us. Likewise, holding back our wealth does not make us richer. Our strength is increased with our increased understanding of truth. Strength is not minimized by voicing truth. Immortal mind reading is a revelation of divine purpose through spiritual understanding, by which we gain the divine principle and explanation of all things. Mortal mind reading and immortal mind reading interpret cause and effect differently. The act of reading mortal human mind investigates and touches only human beliefs. Immortal science doesn't coordinate with the premises or conclusions of mortal beliefs. Mark. And after 6 days, Jesus took with him Peter and James and John, and led them up a high mountain by themselves. And he was transfigured before them, and his clothes became radiant, intensely white, as no one on earth could bleach them. And there appeared to them Elijah and Moses, and they were talking with Jesus. And Peter said to Jesus, "Rabbi, it is good that we are here. Let us make 3 tents, one for you, and one for Moses, and one for Elijah." For he did not know what to say, for they were terrified. And a cloud overshadowed them, and a voice came out of a cloud, "This is my beloved Son. Listen to him." And suddenly, looking around, they no longer saw anyone with them but Jesus only. Science and Health. As we become better acquainted with the science of being, we are better able to communicate with the divine mind. Spiritual knowledge not only allows people to foresee and foretell events which concern the universal welfare, but it also inspires people divinely to reach the range of unfettered mind, spirit. To understand incorporeal mind is to perceive that mind is infinite. Mind is not bound by physicality. Mind is not dependent on the fleshly ear and eye for sound or sight. Mind is not contingent on corporeal muscles and bones for movement. This perception of boundless mind extends toward mind science and toward a perception of our true nature and existence, which does not include material personalities, and without material personalities or spirits, there is no basis upon which to build for psychics or spiritualism. All we correctly know of spirit comes from God, divine principle, and it is learned through truth and divine science. If this science has been thoroughly taken in and properly digested, we can know the truth more accurately than the astronomer can detect a nebula or calculate an eclipse. Scientific mind reading greatly differs from clairvoyance, psychics, or extrasensory perception. The reading of divine mind is the illumination of spiritual understanding. Enlightened understanding demonstrates the capacity of soul, not the capacity of human imprints. Soul sense comes to the human mind as the human mind yields to divine mind. Spirit-based intuition reveals whatever constitutes and perpetuates harmony, enabling one to do good but not evil. You will reach the perfect science of healing when you are able to read the human mind intuitively and discern the error you would destroy. In divine science, we consciously possess the recognition of harmony as we continue to understand God. The term Lord, as used in the Old Testament, is often synonymous with Yahweh and expresses a rudimental human concept, not yet elevated to deific understanding through spiritual transfiguration. Yet the word Lord gradually approaches a higher significance as the human mind's concept of God yields to diviner meaning. The human mind's sense of personality admits a more expansive thought of God and us as the infinite principle and infinite idea, as one father-mother with a universal family held in the gospel of love. The Lamb's wife presents the unity of male and female as no longer two wedded individuals, but as two individual natures in one, and this compounded spiritual individuality reflects God as Father-Mother, not as a physical being. In this divinely united spiritual consciousness, there is no impediment to eternal happiness, no inhibition to the perfectibility of God's creation.